Hello everyone, welcome back. We're going to be doing another beautiful drawing, and today we're going to be drawing a very simple eagle drawing. It's a little bit less realistic than what we normally do, but it's still going to be great fun. So follow along. I'm just using very ordinary paper. Use whatever paper that you have, especially in these times of lockdown. You use what you have, even if it's some scrap paper that you found in the back of an old unused school book. I'm going to be drawing in a black marker today, just so that it can be really clear on the video. But use your pencil, and then you can make corrections if you make any mistakes or if there's something that you're not happy with. Otherwise, use whatever you're comfortable with. Right, I'm going to start. To find my starting point, I'm going to find the middle of my page going across and a little bit to the left, and I'm going to put a dot there, and that's where I'm going to start his beak. This is going to be the tip of his beak, and an eagle's got a very curved pointy beak. Angled line. This tip of the beak, I'm going to start from the tip so it's nice and sharp, and I'm going to draw into the middle of that angled line, and then again to the bottom of his beak. Let's do his eye next, coming along a little gap, a little angled line, and in that straight part there we're going to give a little curved line and color in some of his eye. You can see I've left a white spot. To the top of his head, small straight line and sloping back, and we're going to do a curved line that goes out to the side. This eagle's going to be flying underneath. Nice curved line. Now we want to join these two with a sort of feathery ruffle. The way I do that easily is I find, pardon me, I'm going to find the halfway, and I'm going to put an angled line in between, and now I'm going to join up with some more angled lines. See, I can hardly even see my mistake. I'm not going to let it bother me. Alright, coming down, we're going to do under his belly, a real curved line. We're going to do his feet, his legs and his feet. Straight line, and we're going to do some angled lines coming back. His feet are going to be stretching forward like he's about to grab something in mid-flight. Two curved lines for his talons, and then we're going to close up that shape. And then this looks a bit simple, so I'm going to put another one in, another curved line, and join up so I can see his multiple talons. Let's do another leg. It's going to be behind here. I want to overlap, and the same line I'm going to draw here, and this other leg is behind. And again, I want that feeling of his talons stretching out to catch his prey. Two curved lines and close into a C shape. And I'll do that other one underneath. It goes nice and sharp. But we're doing well. From here, our wings are going to come out one side and another side. And so I'm going to do his body now, but I want to follow an imaginary line from the top of his head coming down towards the tail. So I'm going to start here. And I'm not going to start there, I'm going to leave a gap, and I'm going to come down, and I'm going to close off this part of his tail. Some more angled lines. Today is all about angled lines and curved lines. Now we can have his tail fanning out. Again, I'm going to find the halfway mark in between where I imagine these two joining, and I'm going to put my angled line. And then when I have these feathers fanning inwards from this side and inwards from this side. I'm lifting my pencil often so that if I try and do all those zigzags in one go, it can get a bit lost and messy. I can just add a little bit of extra detail. Alright, time for his wings. His one wing is going to come out this way and it's going to stretch out. Far out this way. And it's just a curved line and another curved line. I'm getting quite close to the edge of my page, and I'm going to do his feathers, his flight feathers coming down. So curve, straight line, and another little curve. This one can be a little bit shorter, coming in, and then I'm going to come from this side, and these, I'm going to do some angled lines that are also stretching out. Finish his wing. Alright, coming from the top of his head, yeah, I'm going to do the other one. This one's going to be a bit shorter because it's behind, so it doesn't need to be as long. When we are drawing, if something's further away, it looks smaller. And we're going to do the same on this side. Angled curved line, and a curved line, and a straight line, and a curved line. Let's do one more. And I can really feel those wingtips stretching out. Alright, and I can bring that wing in as well. I'm not going to see the rest of this wing really. I'm just imagine it going behind. And I can add some of those little detail lines again coming in. Alright, and there we have drawn our eagle. Very simple. I've kept it very simple today because I want to talk about a way of drawing which we've been doing, and that is how to gradate colors. So our eagle, we're going to leave this white and his tail's also white, and we're going to color him in brown. Now I'm going to give him a quick layer of brown everywhere, and then we're going to talk about how to gradate our colors. So you pause the video and you color in yours as well. So I'm going to fast forward this part and then catch up with me in a second for how to gradate our colors. Alright, boys and girls, I've got some colors on. The reason why I always tell you to give a general color first is that it is easier to shade on a toned surface rather than on white. So it really helps it along to just give a general coloring everywhere. Then it also breaks ice. There's nothing to be scared of. You've already covered the whole area with your color. So it just makes it much easier. Right, let's get to the idea of gradate. We're going to gradate our colors, which means that I'm going to go from dark, and as I'm around my edges and as I'm coming out, I am getting lighter and pushing less hard, and it is fading. The colors are fading out. So we're just coloring in a very simple picture today, but it's still going to look dynamic because we are using our colors. So again, around this ruffle, I'm going to go dark and then fade out. Go dark and fade out. Let's go down this side as well. Dark, and I'm going to gradate. And that is what is going to give the shape to our eagle. So we've been practicing this a lot in our previous lesson, but now we've got a name for it, gradate. when we gradated our colors. Remember, we also learned when we were drawing our dolphin about using that rule of thirds. This leg here, well, this bottom leg I can actually just make nice and dark. It's at the back. Remember, dark colors recede and light colors come forward. I'm going to actually add a bit of black there as well, just to turn into a nice dark brown. When I do this leg here, I'm going to gradate out. And I want this to come past halfway. And so my highlight here is on the third of his leg. It's on the third line. As we come to his wings, this is a beautiful place where we can practice that gradation of color. So I'm going to make it dark along the top. Dark, and then as I come out, I'm getting lighter and lighter, and I'm blending into the color that I already have, and dark and blending out. I can imagine these light feathers coming down. On the top of each of these feathers, I'm going to go darker and extend that shader out, and light at the bottom. His beak, we can do yellow and orange. And his eye, again I can use my shading. His legs are also yellow. This is a particularly bright yellow that I have here, so I'm going to put some orange of it in as well. I want them yellowy but not neon. I'm also going to use, instead of leaving this completely white, I'm just going to add a bit of light shadow with my black. So even as I'm looking here, I can imagine these feathers coming out. A little bit over the top of his back, his head, and it's around his beak, a very light grey, and the same for his tail. The direction of my strokes is important here, because I'm dealing with feathers which do have a very particular direction. So I'm not going to do anything fancy, I'm just making some strokes down in the same direction as what I imagine the feathers are growing. Just very lightly to get that grey colour. Right, boys and girls, I'm going to finish colouring in this other wing and this one here. And I'm going to have a look at him and see, do I want to add any depth of colour elsewhere? And you can have a look at the end. Alright, boys and girls, I finished colouring my picture. Just to have a last look at a couple of things. You can see that I've used my rule of thirds again for shading. My line here, my third of my body is the lightest. So I've got a little bit of dark, then I've got my highlight, and these 2/3 are my darker area. So don't just put the shading just around the edges. Pick a side and bring it out all the way up, and one short side. Okay, and that really makes a big difference. So keep that in mind, be mindful and thoughtful of that. And I've also again added in some black strokes just to deepen him. I hope that you enjoy drawing this eagle, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next drawing. Happy drawing!